The question I get asked very often and most earnestly, with everybody hanging on my answer, is where do I buy and what do I buy? It's such an open-ended question that it depends on the economy at the time. But I will tell you the rules that I have crafted for myself for the last 54 years that have been time tested. One is this: don't buy in blue states. You're wasting your time. I'm not saying you can't make a big profit in blue states, but they're just too few and far between, and it's not going to happen for most people. Now, if you live in a blue state and you really know everything backwards and forwards and you have it wired, you're the exception. I understand. So I'm going to give you an example of what I did when I first moved out of San Diego's market in 2003. And I want to be honest and tell on myself. I do a in complete review of everything I do in business during Labor Day weekend every year. And I found out in 2002 that I had to get out of Dodge, which meant get out of San Diego's market. I continued living there until 2021, but I got out of San Diego's market. The whole reason was it was becoming undoable. Okay? You had to put 40% down, not for cash flow, but just not to lose money. You can't do that and call it investing. And people get locked in because San Diego is such a good market. Well, things change. Now, what I'm going to give you is some examples here. So I went to Arizona first, and Arizona was on freaking fire. We made deals all over the place, and I actually made a huge mistake when I got out after 2004 because I thought it couldn't go anymore. And then they went and set an all-time record for appreciation in the Phoenix area of 48% in 2005. If you have a higher appreciation rate for a calendar year, let me know, because I don't know of one. Now, I went to Idaho because my research told me, and it surprised me to death, and all my critics said the same ones that said I was an idiot for leaving San Diego told me I was worse when I went to Idaho. They didn't criticize my move to Arizona because even the slowest person knew Arizona was on fire. But Idaho proved to be fantastic for my clients because the stuff we were buying back then in 2005 and 6 was 200 to 425 or so. And those properties now are selling for 650 to about $1 million, one or two. And so we can't purchase that anymore. But my people have a ton of equity there. They don't have too much to pay off on mortgages, and they didn't buy ancient properties like in San Diego. How'd you like to buy a 70-year-old, 65-year-old duplex in La Mesa, East County, San Diego, a good area, for $1 million? Figure out what the rent would be, and they're not going to get it because they're old, dilapidated properties. Even though they're in good condition, if there's a dishwasher in them, you put it in. If there's a disposal in them, you put it in. All the rooms are super small. In the 2-bedroom, 1-bath of one of them had, the living room was almost the size of my master bedroom at home. All right, you can't make this stuff up. Now, I want you to know again that this stuff I'm not making up. This is from experience. We had the same experience in Texas. I got invited to go visit Texas, and because I had a fence around it mentally, I had seen too many people go to Texas from San Diego and come back with their tail between their legs. And he said that was for one reason and one reason only. They were a one trick economy. Oil, oil, and then oil. But since the late 90s, that has not been true anymore. They are spread out, and there are multiple industries for their economy now. So I went there, checked it out. Sure as shooting, they were right. And I started putting my clients into that market for around 250 for a brand new duplex. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, around 1,300 square feet, 2-car garage that would fit 2 Ford F1, laundry room, outfitted kitchen, everything for 250 in an area that was no worse than a B plus area. Those same duplexes today, the cheap ones are selling for 5.25, and the rest they have them over 600 in places like Austin. You can't make that up. It's true. It's a fact. It's concrete evidence. Then I acquired a partner, and Greg lives in Utah, and he says, "Come to Utah. It's ripe." And we came there. We built over 20 overnight rentals. Some of them were small. Some of them were way over 3,000 feet. Sold them like crazy. Some of them sold for over $1 million. Some of them are renting for over $1,200 a night, et cetera, et cetera. So you can see I take credit for the profits my clients have made, but it was from nothing more than honest, lengthy recovery, and from the numbers, looking at the numbers, saying, oh, I understand why that's recovering and why San Diego is not recovering. And because of that understanding, I was able to go to Idaho, go to Texas, go to Utah, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I'll talk later about Tennessee, which I think is going to be a gold mine. But the bottom line is this. If you want to do well, long-term or short-term, stay in the red states. Do not test a blue state. Just don't do it. In the end, red state means growing state. End of sentence. Over and out. That's all I got to say.